right, y'all, we're gonna be doing a deep dive on Victoria Beckham Beauty today. I have tried everything cosmetics-wise on her website, for anything that she's ever made. The brand started in 2019. I was excited when it started because I've always been a huge fan of Posh Spice herself, and that fandom, that enthusiasm has not waned at all. I think that this line overall is so beautiful, but it's also so expensive. And I wanted to go through every product today and let y'all know what is worth it and what is not. So I did film this look coming together. This is as much Victoria Beckham on my face as I could like squeeze into a look. And there are some products that I have had plenty of in the past and plenty of experience with in the past, but it's a brand that's been around for a while. So like some of my makeup expired and I had to get rid of it. So I'll be able to speak to certain things without showing them to you, but there are a lot of formulas where I have like a gajillion of them and we're gonna swatch all of them. Mainly like the eye products. I have so many of her eye products. I really went into my stash and tried to collect every single piece of Victoria Beckham Beauty that I have. Some of it's even too expired to put on my face, but we'll definitely be swatching them, and I'm going to go through and tell y'all through my years of experience with this brand what is worth it and what is not. So let's go ahead and jump in. Let us begin with one of the most recent releases from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is the Foundation Drops. I should say these are the Foundation Drops. They retail for an astounding $110 US dollars, and we have 15, 16, 17, 18. There are 19 shades in this. I do think we could have done for more. At least make it an even 20. I obviously tried this because my curiosity got the best of me. This is right within my crosshairs of like what it is that I like to review on my channel anyway. And that $110 price point makes my job really important because it's like, I don't think that everybody should have to spend $110 on something that most of us can't go try in person. I know they have it at Nordstrom, but I don't know how many Nordstroms actually carry it for you to be able to touch. Regardless, I think that some Blue Mercuries do too. Either way, I bought this, I tested it extensively, and I really couldn't help but draw the comparison to the Lisa Eldridge skin tint. This right here, because this is my favorite skin tint, and they do really have a lot in common in terms of like what I think they're going for. I like this, but I don't think it's worth $110. Unless you look at it and you're like, ah yes, the Augustinus Bader Ginsburg skincare of it all. That is not his name. I don't even know what he looks like. I'm just goofing. The skincare in here apparently is what makes it so expensive. We have these like proprietary peptides and stuff. So Augustinus Bader's TFC8. If that makes it worth it to you, I am not here to yuck your yum, but when it comes to me recommending a product for you, I'm going to rate this as there are better things for the price, okay? I think that both of my favorite things that kind of land in this sort of finish, which are like the Lisa Eldridge and the Prada Reveal Foundation, are both considerably less expensive than this. It's definitely meant to be kind of like a luxury item on purpose, and I feel like they could have risen to the occasion better for the price point. And also compared to those two, it has pearlescence to it. It's one of those ones that's been coming out lately where it has, you know, radiant shimmer particles in the actual formula. Listen, don't shoot the messenger here, but the next one we have is the concealer pen with the same peptide or whatever it is, TFC8. This comes in, again, 19 shades, but these are much weirder shades. I definitely found that like the shade range was harder for me to find a match in. Where like, I think that I just chose the wrong shade in her foundation. These I bought shade 1 and 2, and shade 1 is much too light for me, and shade 2 is much too dark for me. There's nothing in between there in her range, and as you can see, it's begun separating. I bought these when they came out last year, so they're a little worse for the wear, but that's okay because I don't use them. This is a really sheer formula, and again, the skincare in it is fine. I think that like when she put this out, it was kind of meant to be more of like a Touche Éclat kind of product, but that doesn't really work that well with the coverage level of her foundation, which is actually pretty high for a skin tint or, you know, a complexion drop kind of formula. And so these are, I think, intended to be more of a standalone product, but for that reason, it is even more annoying that the shade range is so bad. And this one retails for $68 and you get 0.08 fluid ounces. For the record, you know, most concealers, it definitely runs the gamut, but like even one of my most luxurious ones, this one is like $58, $60 or something. This is the Cerakoil Face Flex. You get 0.3 fluid ounces. So that's almost 4 times as much product as you get in here for like $10 less. And if I'm being totally honest, this formula is not really anything to write home about. If the formula itself had totally blown my mind in terms of like seeing the effects of the skincare in it and everything like that, I might have been able to justify the price. I might have been able to have some kind of like nuanced take where it's like, I know there's not that much in there, but X, Y, and Z. It's just not like that. It's not like the Lisa Eldridge pencil to me where I'm like, man, this is still indispensable to my routine. You know what I mean? I will die on this hill. I will not die on the hill of these concealers. Oh, I just realized I forgot to use this. That's how unmemorable these are. I know I said that I love this brand and I do. I do. But we're starting with Complexion and I have to say, like, this is the highest concentration of stuff that I'm less impressed by in her line. So this is the Contour Stylist. This is $38 and it comes in 4 shades. I have it here in Travertine and it is supposed to be kind of an everywhere contour. But first of all, even compared to what I would consider to be my most like warm bronzer-esque contour, which is my Dior in shade 1, the Dior is much cooler than Travertine. Like much cooler. Travertine is like straight up a bronzer, you know what I mean? Like for me. It's also really balmy and shiny, which is a little bit unexpected. I mean, that's fine, but it has a tendency to blend away more than I would like, especially in the context of her eyeshadow sticks, which I don't want to cut ahead too quickly, but like this is not in the same spirit as that where it's like, wow, that's like an innovative formula that's really doing the job. The thing that happens when we talk about this is the comments are, that's too small for a contour, and then the people going, it's based on a Burberry contour that she still loves, but it's been discontinued, so she made it. That's fine. I still think it's too small to be a contour. And it's also too warm to be a contour, at least this shade. So I think in any case where we're talking about these high-end price points, there should always be the option to say, yes, that's an acceptable product, but something better exists at a better price. Even in the luxury market, something better exists in the luxury market at a better price. I have them both here. I did not apply them today because I keep one mascara open at a time, and these are very old. They do come in glass. Nothing so far that we've been talking about has come in glass, but a lot of her stuff does, which I do really like. I am a packaging person. Like I do really like interacting with luxurious packaging and I'm willing to pay for it. So this was the first one that came out. This is Future Lash, and these are both tubing mascaras, or at least that's what they claim. Let me talk about Future Lash first. So it does come in 3 shades and it is $34. It's one of her, I think, more reasonably priced products. You know, it's like on par with Hourglass. For silky lashes that defy gravity, Future Lash lifts, strengthens, and conditions with every swipe. It does. It comes in a black, a brown, and a burgundy, which I think are very intelligent shades for this. I also think that like gray mascaras need to exist in more places. But if you're unfamiliar with a tubing mascara formula, it does exactly that. It just kind of creates these tubes out of, you know, microplastics, let's call it what it is. And then when it rinses off, it just slides off your lashes in tubes. And like, is that for everyone? No, because it's a pretty heavy type of formula, but it's what works the best for me because my eyes get infected at the absolute whisper of a regular wash off mascara. My eyes can't do it. And so I love the Future Lash. I do. In fact, I don't know if I've tried the brown. I don't know if I've tried the brown. Add to cart. Except it's out of stock. Maybe it's in stock other places, but I do need to try that. So they call this a smudge-free lifting mascara, and it does do all of those things. I think this is one of the most beautiful tubing mascaras out there. And again, I'm gonna retry it when they come back in stock with the brown. Now, Vast Lash. Vast Lash only comes in 1 shade. I do wonder if that's because it's new, or because, I mean, it's new-ish, it's not that new, or whether they're choosing not to really invest in more shades in it because it's not that popular, and it's not popular with me. Enduring and smudge-proof yet easy to remove, Vast Lash is a clean, volumizing mascara reimagined. So it says bare eyes, big bold lashes, a true black glossy finish without clumps or crumbles, all in a single swipe. When I was testing Vast Lash, people quite often thought I was wearing eyelash extensions. It's that good, says Victoria. Simply pull the curve, blah, 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 blah. I think that Vast Lash is also supposed to be a tubing mascara, but it's supposed to be easier to wash off. Either way, it smudges like crazy on me, like immediately. Yes, it makes my lashes really long and it like holds a curl, but you know, I get this like haze of black all the way around my eye right here, and that's just not worth it to me, so I don't recommend this. The brow gel, I love. I do really, really like it. I think that the colors are lovely. I think that it's really nice and subtle. I love the applicator. I don't have one currently. I have one in the city. I have it at my boyfriend's apartment, and then I had a really light shade and I gave it to my mom when she was here because it looked fantastic on her. So yeah, I do. I really like the Feather Fix brow gel. It's $32. It comes in 5 shades, one being a clear, so technically 4 shades. And I wouldn't say it's got like the most hold in the world, but it does a good job of building color onto invisible brows. Again, it's like a gently building kind of thing. My mother has very invisible eyebrows, like they're there, but like the hairs have gotten so translucent that just this brings them back online. And I've also found that the brown color for me works really nicely. I like the clear as well, but it's not for, you know, laminating your eyebrows. I just think it's a very pretty kind of styling product that also has like the right amount of color to it. All right, next we have the Baby Blade Eyebrow Pencil. This one is also in the city. I do really like this. I have this in the shade light brown. I will say it was because they sent it to me. I think I would probably go for a lighter shade if I were choosing them myself. There was a while where they sent me PR on, off, whatever, but I buy the new stuff now. So when they sent this to me, they sent me kind of like this shade and then even deeper shades. I ended up giving one to Ingrid at the time. It is a beautiful eyebrow pencil. It is $34, comes in 6 shades. There's no like gray or red or anything. And also for it being a very beautiful pencil that's like metal on the outside and stuff like that, do I think anyone needs to pay $34 for an eyebrow pencil? No. I have never encountered an eyebrow pencil that I think is like remarkable. They're good. They're all good. It's kind of like a lip liner. You know what I mean? There's like different formulas that perform differently, but in terms of goodness, in terms of just like objective quality, I don't think that there's anything that's like there to justify paying $34 for an eyebrow pencil, unless you just want that label on there, which isn't that important to me. Oh, Victoria, I feel like we're doing all of the negative ones right out of the gate. Okay, so I had to pull these out of my uh-oh bags back there. Those are my uh-oh bags right there. Again, absolutely nothing to do with CL, just great bags. But the makeup inside of them is all the stuff that I'm saving to share at like end of the year roundups of just like, this was bad. And these were so bad. So here we have the Victoria Beckham Color Wash. These are also in glass. Each of these is $46. Comes in 3 shades. I bought 2 of those shades because one of them is very like pinky red, which isn't my thing. So I got Coral and Vintage Rose. If you like the Milk Makeup jelly blush thing that, you know, went viral on TikTok or whatever, keep using that. Because that's all this is. And I don't like that formula. I find it to be a gimmick. If you apply little enough of this, it's functional, it's workable, but like that doesn't mean that it's an ideal product by any means. It's not something that I recommend. There are serum blushes for every skin tone that are not this kind of frustratingly thin, sort of like Kool-Aid stain kind of consistency, and that have more complexity to them. I mean, this is just such an odd set of choices. I don't think that this style of stain can be called modern. It feels very like we've outgrown this as a society. The way that it stains the skin is just, it's so literal. There's no intelligence built into it. It's a very unsophisticated kind of formula with like no nuance to the colors. So this is a flop to me. Huge flop. Listen, there's an emergency happening in this room, and that is that I cannot find my matte bronzing brick, which means that Natalie is probably at this moment adding one to cart and sending it to me because she knows how important that is to me. So the matte bronzing brick from Victoria Beckham is very important to me. I have one reservation, and that is that I only use one side of it. I use the light bronze in the shade 1, in the lightest shade, and I use it to like blend my under eyes. Like you're seeing even right now, there's like a pretty strong contrast right there between like the concealer, because the concealer's so light, and then, you know, the blush that I'm wearing, which is not from her brand. I'm actually wearing this Sochi blush today in Copper Spice because I was just chasing a feeling. I love this stuff and the formula is beautiful. At least in my shade, I don't necessarily recommend it. A, because I only use half of it, and B, because the other shade is weird. It doesn't function as a bronzer, it doesn't function as a contour, it's just a strange color. I can't explain it, it just like doesn't work on the skin. It's not a flattering color, like it doesn't really make sense. I know it's called a matte bronzing brick, but the instructions do say to achieve the most natural looking sun-kissed glow, brush the lightest shade of the matte bronzing brick across the high points of the face, cheeks, forehead, nose, and chin. Then use the darker shade to sculpt under the cheekbones, jawline, as well as along the temples for extra definition. So it is intended to be a contour, even though they don't use that word. And it doesn't function as one. I have reservations about it. I wish they would put them out in singles, and I would love if she would put out a setting powder. In this formula, a setting powder would be outstanding. Oh my God, I feel like such an angel of doom here because all I'm doing is just like getting all the ones out of the way that I don't love, and then I'm just going to gush for like the second half of this video. So next we have the Cheeky Posh. I bought like 4 of these or something. This is her cream blush stick. And they're $42, and I am not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. They're waxy, they're kind of hard to get them started on the skin. They come in 7 shades, and I just found of, you know, all of the cream blushes that I own, because I own hundreds of cream blushes, and I've tried so many over the past 8 years of doing this as a job that like this one just didn't pass muster. The formula was frustrating. I wish that it was more like her lipsticks. Again, foreshadowing. Her lipsticks are so creamy and they're so nice. And I wish that it had a little bit less of like a waxy tug on the skin and more consistency to the pigment. I think that what she was trying to do was make something that wasn't hyper dewy, but like it just ends up feeling like it doesn't want to be blush. It's just not my favorite. All right, oh God. I was like, oh, we're in the promised land now. I can start talking about lip products, but this is a lip product that I still only recommend with reservation. So this is the Posh Balm. And honestly, she's just got such a huge catalog of products at this point that, you know, I think that there are going to be things that just aren't for me specifically. But the Posh Balm, I feel like was a miscalculation in the sense that she made 3 shades out of the initial 4 that she released pH color adjusting. So it's like if you ordered them thinking that you were getting like a cool like plum color or something like that, it's not. It's just gonna turn bright pink, which is an incredibly frustrating bait and switch. The clear, however, is lovely. It was in my empties recently. It's a very, very nice formula. It's super committed, okay? Like you put that clear balm on and it is on, baby girl. And it's really, really nourishing and occlusive. I just think it's lovely. And it's also in that like nice heavy metal packaging. There's a new one, Canel, a sheer tan apricot. Add to cart? I need to know. So I'm gonna assume that that one is not color adjusting. Custom Color Balm, 3 shiny tinted shades contain light. Okay, so not Canel. So Canel honestly looks like my hair color. I'm just like, put it on my face. So yeah, excited about that. But yeah, it's $32, comes in 5 shades. 1 is clear, 1 is the new kind of caramel color, and then the other 3 are pH color adjusting. So there should really only be 1 because it only turns 1 color. I have distilled my soapbox down to this. pH color adaptive is not custom. It is not custom, adaptable, anything. It's just 1 color. It's just 1 color of pink, okay? And if you like that pink, that's fine. But let's not lie and say that it's like a mood ring. It's not. Oh, for the love of God, let's talk about something that I absolutely love. Now, I will say I can't find any of these in my collection, so I must have decluttered them. They must have started smelling like crayons. I need to buy more of them, especially now as I have become more of a lipstick girl since I got rid of them. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't always that much of a lipstick girl. So this is the Posh lipstick. It is $38. The packaging is just like swoon. It's so nice. It's very slim Back when these first came out, I, with hesitation, said like, I like how tiny they are. It's kind of that same thing as them trying to sell feminine cigarettes to people in the form of Virginia Slims by making them little skinny Legend cigarettes. I don't condone smoking, and I also don't condone Mary Phillips making lipsticks called Lip Siggies. Makes me want to throw up just saying that. It's so icky. It's like the word panties. Like, I just hate it. And then doubling down and making all of her actual imagery for the product itself, people smoking and treating the lipstick like it's a cigarette. I'm like, stop. Stop it. Cut it out. Either way, this is not like that. It's just not being advertised that way, but it is a little skinny Legend of a tube. And it has 13 shades that are dialed into perfection. They are so gorgeous. These shades are off the freaking charts, okay? Wow. I have owned Pose. I have owned Jump. I have owned Smile. And I've had Spark. I know, because those are the ones I gravitate towards. I'm like, ooh, those. And if it were up to me, I would rebuy Pose immediately. I think that I would also, Spark is lovely. I want to say Jump or Pose. I want to say Jump, I think. I bought for Ingrid because it's like this perfect dusty mauve color for olive undertones. It's gonna like pull a really pretty pink. It's like a very similar color to my actual like lip color naturally. I'm wearing Rudy Berry's lip stain, her Cherry Cola, is that what it's called? Yes, the Cherry Cola Bitten Juice lip stain. I'm using that as like a liner. And then I am wearing one of the VB lip glosses over it. I'll talk about that in a second. But I can't recommend these highly enough. This is a gorgeous satin formula, not too creamy, but not matte, really easy to apply because of the bullet itself. And the colors are just so special. I really think that like for this formula being, it's an incredibly smooth, healthy looking finish on the skin. The color, they're just really kind of something for almost everybody in here. They're so dreamy. They're so dreamy. And I love that she did so many interesting colors in this line. Yes, let's talk about the Posh Gloss. Let's talk about something else that I can gush about. So I buy these for sport. I buy them for fun. I buy them to treat myself because they are just an absolute pleasure, especially if you're someone who is sensitive to sensations and smells and things like that. It doesn't have a sensation and it doesn't have a smell. It doesn't have a flavor. It doesn't have squat. In fact, when the clear one came out, I was like, what are we doing? I remember I tried it and I was like, it. They just put out Ice, the first one. Now well, that's not the best name, is it? There are 10 shades currently. And when she first released the clear one, I was like, it's a perfectly fine lip gloss, but it's just clear. I don't really know how much to say about it. As she expanded the colors in this particular shade range, I was like, oh, you know what I mean? Oh, because it's like this perfect level of pigmentation. I do still love the clear. This is an occasion where I can finally start swatching some things for you. So let me show you my Pokemans. I have 5 of them right now. So I have 5 of the 10. And one's clear, so that's more than half. All right, we're gonna start with my favorite. This is Bikini, and she's fantastic. Bikini is the most beautiful pale pinky nude. It's what my friend Linda would call a slutty nude. I love wearing it with a brown lip liner. It's just excellent. It's so nice. This is the packaging. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, this is when I start getting silly because I start getting giddy about what I like. So yeah, these are $32. You know, nominal amount for a lip gloss. No, that's a dumb amount to spend on a lip gloss, but they're so good. Okay, now we have Picante. Yeah, that does not smell usable. This one, I will say, I had more faith in it than I ended up kind of wearing it because do not be fooled. That coral is milky. It is light. Okay, like it's gonna be lighter than you think. I do wish that she had made a more vivid coral. We need something with a little less white in it because this one does not work for very many people. Then we have Fizz. I actually tried this with this look today and it's too purple. Oh my God. Like, olive undertones, eat your heart out. It's just so pretty. Good Lord. I love the level of pigment that's in these. So this one, again, that's Fizz and it's just this perfect mauve. Then I have Poolside. Oh my God. Look at Poolside. Are you freaking kidding me? And there's one called Tan Lines too. There's just all of these fantastic kind of nudie colors for every skin tone that are just like, for all of the love that I have for bikini because it just like blanks my lips out and makes them look all pouty and sexy. There's a brown, beige, whatever for everyone. They're so pretty. And Victoria is pretty olive undertoned. I know I've been watching her documentary lately. And so I feel like a lot of her stuff works well in olive undertones because she has an olive undertone. And finally, I guess I'll put this one at the top. This is Martini. I bought this because I was like, this is gonna be the most similar to my sparkling limoncello shade from Finding Ferdinand that I did and you know, can't get it anymore. But it's not. It's peachier than that. Mine is very gold. This one's very like peach. It's really pretty, but it's kind of like, I wish it had more. Just more. More sparkle, more something. I didn't end up wearing it as much as I was hoping. I don't know. Bikini is still my girl. Bikini and Poolside, I think, are like the ones that I kind of always want to keep around just because they're just beautiful browns. And honestly, the clear is really lovely. I'm never gonna kick one of them out of bed, but like, look at those colors. Look at them. Oh, okay. Back to not totally loving it, but you would probably expect that from this. This was part of her initial release. This is the Bitten Lip Tint, and it is in 4 shades, and it's $38. And again, this is a pretty unsophisticated lip stain formula that it just isn't my thing. And they just all kind of stain the same color. A lot of times when I talk about like more modern lip stains, like the one from Kulfi or the one from Violette, I always mention how special it is that they stain the color of the actual lip product because there's so many of these that have one color in the tube and they're not pH color adjusting, but there's like only one color of underlying stain and it's kind of a pinky red. And that's what these are like. I didn't find any difference, even the peach one. You know what I mean? I bought the peach one and I put it on and it still turned my lips kind of the same candy apple red, which is just not for me. Not for me. I don't recommend it. I don't like when you buy something that has shades and then the shades don't end up mattering. Either because it irritates your lips too much or it pH color adjusts or it leaves behind like one color of stain no matter what shade you buy. Okay, I have owned like 1 or 2 of her lip definer lip pencil. So this is $32 and it is a sharpenable lip pencil. It, again, I think was, I might not have come out right when everything came out, but like it was in her first year, you know, of releases. And it's a very like soft, matte artist style pencil. It doesn't have a lot of like creaminess to it in my experience. Honestly, until I was like scrolling through the website, I forgot they existed. I do actually have her lip liner. I have it here in the shade 2. Again, nothing to write home about. I mean, it's fine. Oh, for the love of God, let's talk about eyes. Criminy sakes alive. The eye wardrobe is $75 or $50 for the refill. So I'm wearing Bordeaux today. Ooh, ah. So pretty. This is a magnetic refill that goes in here. A lot of her stuff is like that. I don't know if I should say a lot of her stuff. The bronzer is like that. The bronzer and the eyeshadows, so not a lot. Either way, that's what these are like. And this is the second round of these. They phased out the first ones, which I found to be not great. So I had like Signature and then I had Silk. Signature was really boring. And Silk was all shimmers and just made no sense. These are far more balanced. I do have my criticisms about them though, and that is that they all are very like high contrast. Like you gotta be going for a lot, girl. Although I will say, in Bordeaux here, if I had just used this shade right here, just this kind of funky bronzy gold, I could have just left it like that. I'm not a one shadow kind of person though, and I certainly don't want to buy a quad with plans to only wear one color in it, so it's not like I'm recommending it based on that. But like, there's some mileage you can get out of here in terms of the combinations, like different eye looks you could get from it, but it's still, that's pretty stinking deep, okay? And that just means it's for people with deep skin tones. I can still use it, but I just want to like, make people aware of kind of who it's for. I do feel like this is for people who want a high contrast eye look or people who already have deep skin. And for me, it just ends up being a high contrast eye look. I bought this one recently. This is Cocoa, and you can see that Cocoa is just an order of magnitude, a standard deviation lighter overall. I mean, yes, it does have this really deep brown in there that you can use as like a, you know, a crease shade or an eyeliner or whatever, but like, those two shades right there are quite different from each other. Those medium tones are quite different from each other. And I do feel like this is finally an everyday palette for me that she put out. I was like, when is she gonna put out a bedroom ice brown, you know? And we finally got a brown that is warm enough. It's got enough gold in it, because we had so many of these like brownish, greenish browns, bronzy things that were either too gold or too pewter or too green. We never got a really, really good brown like this. And like, that thing is dynamite. It's so good. Now I will say, it is not a lid luster formula, and we'll get to the lid lusters here in a second. It's very pretty, but it's just a regular, you know, kind of satin foil. It doesn't have like glitter in it or anything like that, which is not an across the board drawback, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that that's a bad thing. But let me go ahead and swatch the three that I have, because I do have one more back there and we can talk through it. Okay, some serious color payoff on these. I think that that's maybe what I was trying to say. Yes, the colors are deep. Yes, it's high contrast. Yes, it's going to show up on deep skin tones, but it's also just a lot of very pure color payoff. So here we have Bordeaux, here we have Cocoa, and this is Victoria. This one is much too cool for me, and obviously it's just all gonna go kind of sooty. And my main complaint here is that this is mink. Okay, they don't say it, but this is the mink lid luster. So it's like, if you own mink, there's no point in owning this. I would argue that there's no point in owning these other shades because you have them elsewhere. That, you know, just go buy mink. Because mink is beautiful, it's not for me, but it's very pretty. And these other shades, I wish. That was me wishing in my monster voice. I wish that this color existed in a lid luster. Like, let's go. I would just be smearing it all over my eyeballs every single day. This one really surprised me when I put it on today, because it's so much more of like a mirrored foil than the shimmer formulas in either of these. So this one from Victoria is, like I said, it's mink. So the lid luster formula that we'll get to in a second is like 3 textures in one. It's gonna have like a satin base, it's gonna have a pigment behind it, and it's gonna have like this spangly shimmer topper. And it's like, as you blend mink out, it is actually browner underneath there, but it doesn't really matter because it shifts so cool silver that it's really not for people like me who things tend to go sooty on. So that does have like the lid luster texture to it. This right here is not that. It's just more of like a, you know, like a shiny satin, but it doesn't have this like mirror foil effect that you get from the one in Bordeaux. So I do feel like Bordeaux is really special because you don't just get this one, you get this one. You get this one right here. This one is so stupid. It's so this color is so stupid. It's absurdly good. It's just really, really good. I wanna smear it all over my life. So it's like, if I had my druthers, I would have like this as my crease shade, and both of those, I would have this one and this one, and then I would have like a really pale creamy color if I could make my own quad, but alas, I cannot. There are other ones. That's 3 out of the 6. There's one that's quite blue. There is one with a lot of green in it, which I did not buy, obviously. Then there's Night Flash, which is like black and white. So it's pretty evident why I wouldn't want to own those. So this is very everyday for me. This is very wearable and pretty exciting to me. And this is like an absolute no-go, and for, you know, my warm-ish undertones. And this is just mink, so. I do think that they are lovely and worth it, and just very, very high quality. It's just about whether she's got a color story that you like. There are still more eye formulas, so let's keep it pushing. All right, let's talk next about the eyewear. I will say, this happened to me at the right time in my life. I was not a fan of an eyeshadow stick, and her colors made me into a fan of an eyeshadow stick, which then made me go back and try a bunch of eyeshadow sticks, and I just became an eyeshadow stick fan. So I don't think that these are the most special formula in the world, but they are kind of like sentimental to me in the sense that they were my conduit for falling in love with eyeshadow sticks in general, especially for their like wear time, but they're also really quick. And I love her shades. I love Pecan and Trench. They are like my most used eyeshadow stick shades of all time. So there are 10 shades in the eyewear, and it goes for $34. I thought think it probably stacks up about the same as other eyeshadow sticks. So I mean, it's a good price point for it. So here we have, like I said, 7 of the 10 shades. I will determine which ones I missed. I know I don't have Bottle Green. I know I don't have Ballet because I hate it. And then I don't have Macaron, which is weird. I don't know why I don't have Macaron. I think it's really pretty. Either way, we have here Caramel, which you would think, oh, Khaki, that's a perfect bedroom eyes brown. It's not. It doesn't work, okay? I'm not a fan of the shimmers. This is another case of like shimmer eyeshadow sticks just not doing what I need them to do. Like there are so few that actually hold their shimmer when you start to blend them. And these are guilty of just kind of like going flat and see-through and icky when you blend the shimmer. So I'm not like a huge fan of the shimmer shades. I do really love the mattes though. So yeah, Caramel, as much as I want to love it, it doesn't really work. Cornflower, unbelievably beautiful. Sunflower, unbelievably beautiful, okay? And so is Macaron. I think that Macaron, she does some really beautiful, vivid colors in her formulas, and she knows how to make them like really pop. So I'm very impressed with that. This is Oyster. I used a little bit of Oyster on my inner corner here because like the closest thing to like an inner corner shimmer shade, but it is quite green, which is why it's called Oyster. So just bear that in mind. Here we have Trench and Pecan. Those are my girls. Those are my rotten soldiers right there. They make such an epic, just instant eye look. And then this last one is Shroom, which might be the most disappointing one. Ballet I knew wasn't gonna work. Shroom I had high hopes and I was like, oh, that looks like soot on me. Like it's just not good at all. It was like this icky purple gray on me. It just didn't work at all. It was very much marketed to be kind of like this everyone can wear it sort of like pretty taupey shimmer thing, and it just isn't. It doesn't work on a warm undertone. It just looks icky. So I do recommend the mattes wholeheartedly. I don't recommend the shimmers in this formula. Again, the only shimmers that have ever like not betrayed me. I do like the Bobbi Brown ones, but the best ones are the Ilia ones for the shimmers. I'm gonna leave this on my hand because we're gonna be talking about eyeliners soon. Actually, let's go ahead and do the eyeliners real quick and then we'll do the lid lusters because the eyeliners have a lot of like similarities in these colors. I think it's gonna be worth comparing. Oh, my love, the Satin Kajal liner. This is my favorite waterproof eyeliner. I will say, this is something where like if you absolutely like, you know, reach your finger up and what, like it'll move, okay? But if you tap your finger on it or if it gets wet, it's not coming off. So I like it. It's not a smudgy eyeliner. It goes on like a gel and then it does actually like dry all the way down. If you were to put it on bare skin, it would become completely budge proof, but it's like when it's on top of more product and stuff like that, it's a little less budge proof, but it's still my favorite. So these are $34. They come in so many gosh darn shades, 22 shades. And I'm gonna go ahead and swatch the ones that I have. And I have some that are discontinued. So she put out like a summer collection that was really quick, like flash in the pan. And they were these neon colors and I made an incredible reel about it. It's like one of my favorite reels I've ever made. But I happen to have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 14 of them. So hopefully this will be somewhat helpful. So this one right here is Smoky Quartz. Smoky Quartz is a molten mink with golden sparkle. And I'm not gonna be buying Coco Pave because it shifts silver, which I don't want. So, but they do look remarkably similar to one another. This is Electric Blueberry, which doesn't exist anymore, but I think that she should bring it back. This is Sour Apple, which also doesn't exist anymore, but I think she should bring it back. That's Gold Lame. Does Gold Lame still exist? Yes. So Gold Lame is really pretty. It's like super duper, you know, glittery. Then we have Olive, which I think is kind of a bad rendering of Olive. Olive is supposed to be, in my mind, kind of like a desaturated yellow green, and this is very much a turquoise. Like when you put it on, this is turquoise. The next one, she was kind of struggling. This is Fig. Fig is not really with us anymore, but Fig is still available. They call it a rich matte aubergine. I love that. It's like fig, but you're gonna describe it as an eggplant. Which is it, Victoria? What food is it? No, I'm kidding. It does look like an eggplant. I don't know why they didn't just call it eggplant. Or aubergine, courgette. Then we have my girl. This is Coco. Coco is the one that I wear the most. It's just this beautiful, like super consistent brown color. It's awesome. It's lovely. It's a perfect black brown. Then we have Copper right here, which, you know, they describe it as a shimmery reddish gold, and that is exactly what it is. And, you know, beware if you're someone who's just like, wow, red things on my eyes, not so much. You know, don't get copper in an eyeliner. Then we have the second greatest shade of all, and honestly the most unique. It's the one that I'm wearing today, and I like cannot believe that I forgot how in love with it I was at one point, and that is Cinnamon. Look at it, look at it. I mean, I think I went a whole year using this exclusively. It's just such a fantastic, soft, warm brown, and it's shimmery. Do you see Cinnamon? Oh my God. Cinnamon from Victoria Beckham with Cinnamon eyeshadow stick from Bobbi Brown. I just need to do a whole face of things that are just called Cinnamon. That would be really funny. To me. I don't think it would probably perform very well. Then we have Night Flash, which is, you know, not my shade. I don't like black eyeliner on me, and I certainly don't like black with a blue flash on it. That's just not my gig. And then we have, this is another one of the discontinued ones. This is Cherry Blossom. Very, very pretty. I really think she should bring all of these back. Then we have Sequin Green here, which I think is a better stab at an olive color, if you will. It's because it's got more yellowy gold to it, which is what I would want, but it is still a little bit teal for my taste. And then this one right here is Bronze, which I bought because, well, when Nikki DeRose tells me to buy something, I buy it. But it is a very good, like very subtle eyeliner shade for people who don't want like a full-on wing and they just kind of want to smudge it and have it like be there and be not that noticeable. To me, it's not enough. I think, again, Cinnamon is like the lightest I can comfortably go. But I also don't want anything super cool tone. So Cocoa and Cinnamon are my girls in this, but like I can't say enough about the formula. I think that you can wear the mattes in the waterline, but obviously the glitter ones I think are like not recommended on the waterline because you don't want little like particles on your eyes, but like, you know what I mean? You only live once. I'm not a doctor, but I do absolutely recommend these. I think that they're totally gorgeous. $34. There's a reason I own so many of them, and it's because this is my favorite formula. Quickly, I'll talk about this. This is the Instant Brightening Waterline Pencil. It does exactly what it says that it's going to do. There's one shade of it, and it's just kind of this like pale, in my skin color kind of color. And it goes in the waterline, brightens your eyes up without being like anime white, you know? And I wore this when I was roomy for Halloween, but it's definitely a look, and it's not really my look, but it functions perfectly well for what it is. And then, my friends, I think this is the last thing. I think this is the last one. We're gonna talk about the lid lusters, all right? I'll swatch them like here, I guess. I'm really glad this is the last one because as I've been wiping my hands, I just ripped my entire fingernail off, so that feels terrible at the moment. Ugh. Anyway, there are currently 8 shades in the lid luster. It goes for $38. I think that's a fantastic deal for what it is. Oh no, I didn't extend my swatches well enough. There we go. So there's 8 of them, but I have 9 swatches here because Blonde is discontinued. So I have here Tea Rose, which is absolutely absurd. It is described as a warm rose gold with gold and violet infused with rose quartz. That was an odd sentence. Then we have Mirror. Mirror is a true silver chrome infused with moonstone. I didn't realize we were getting woo-woo on this one. Then there's Blonde. Blonde is like a white that shifts gold, but it doesn't exist anymore. Then we have Midnight, a navy blue with silver pearl infused with amethyst. Okay. Oh, where's Starlight? I don't have Starlight on here. What do I have that she doesn't? Is Mink gone? No, Mink is there. I guess we'll find out. I have Starlight somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Huh. Starlight is a 24 karat gold infused with jasper, so it's just like a straight up gold color. It's very, very pretty. This one right here though is Velvet. So Velvet is a golden olive with antiqued pearl infused with malachite. And it's beautiful, but I still wish that she had something that was truly brown. This is Chiffon. Chiffon still exists. Is that chiffon? Yeah, this is chiffon. Chiffon is described as a reflective champagne with gold and multicolored pearl infused with clear quartz. It's like, hello, there you go. So yeah, that's chiffon. And that is onyx, which that appears to be the one that doesn't exist anymore. So Blonde and onyx don't exist anymore. And then this is Honey, which is described as a medium golden bronze with gold pearl infused with opal. And then that's Mink. So Mink is a taupe brown with a mix of gold and silver pearl infused with tiger's eye. I would be careful with anything that says that it has tiger's eye in it. You're not supposed to use tiger's eye, like ground up, because that's asbestos. What? Right? Hey Google, is tiger's eye asbestos? Yes! Tiger's eye was originally formed from asbestos that has since been replaced by quartz, a process called silification. Wearing tiger's eye, it is safe to wear as jewelry because the quartz encases the asbestos fibers, preventing them from being inhaled. Risk from cutting and grinding. There's a risk of exposure if the stone is cut, ground, or polished. This process can release fine dust-like asbestos fibers that can be inhaled. Don't put tiger's eye in eyeshadow, Victoria! That's asbestos! What? No, let's not do that. You're not supposed to use ground up tiger's eye. Why wouldn't someone tell her that? Well, on that note, this has kind of gone a little bit off the rails, hasn't it? Let me make one last check that I have covered everything here, and we will do some final thoughts before I go glue my fingernail back on. That's what it looks like. It's not like gone. It's just like I don't wear tips, so it breaking off is my fingernail breaking off. Oh, I think the only other thing is her primer. And that's technically, I would say, you know, considered a skincare product, but I have it right here. This is quite expired. This is the Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer from Victoria Beckham by Augustinus Bader Ginsburg. And I have it in golden here. I do like both the golden and the clear. This is quite expired. But that's why I didn't put it on my face today. I need to buy it again. It's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. It's a fabulous primer. It's really, really pretty, makes the skin look super hydrated, inexplicably gorgeous, and it actually works well as a primer. I think using that as a primer and having skincare in it is far more elegant and effective than using the skin tint. And I think that using them together would be really heavy. So those are my thoughts on Victoria Beckham Beauty. I do think that like she does some things so excellently well, like better than any brand out there. Like I think that the lid lusters are some of the most beautiful formulas on the market. I wish that we had a bedroomized brown, but that's what I'm here for, is to make those kinds of things for y'all. I think that the Satin Couture eyeliner is an incredibly beautiful product. I think that her eyeshadow sticks are beautiful. I think most of her lip products are absolutely incredible. The rest of it, I feel like it gets enough love from a lot of other people, but I don't really think that like her complexion products and her blush and stuff like that are like worth the money in the context of everything else that I've tried. So I hope that this was helpful for y'all. If it was, please give the video a thumbs up, big swatchy thumbs up. And if you are not yet subscribed, I would love it if you would subscribe while you're here. Hype the video if you're on mobile. I will put a video up here that I think you'll enjoy if you liked this one. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me today, for watching, and I love you so much. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.